I've talked about Syria and the consequences for Russia a number of times, but I thought it would be instructive to look at what the Russians are saying in Russian state media about the consequences of Syria. Now, what we're about to see is truly remarkable because they're going to explain their views about Syria and then they're going to pivot and talk about Trump. And when they talk about Trump, you're not going to believe what they actually say about Trump. You'll see it. Just keep watching and you'll see what they have to say. All right, here we go. Special thanks to the Russian media monitor, as always. For us, Syria is a very sensitive issue. First, our guys are in that soil. Well, they don't have to be. They didn't have to be. You chose to be there because of exporting the kind of chaos that you're trying to export around the world. They've shed their blood for this soil and perished there. Several thousands of our soldiers are still there, and they're trying to get out, and that's the tricky part. Not many of them, but they are there. It should be noted that for now, to the contrary, to the extent that it's possible, they're trying to avoid their locations, even though there were clashes in the first days with our specialists in that area of Aleppo. What are we seeing? What happened there? Yeah, so they're trying not to get into engagements if they can avoid it because they're going to be overwhelmed and destroyed by a very angry Syrian population that doesn't like the dictator or the dictator's friends who have come to assist the dictator. What are we seeing? What happened there? Before our very eyes, Syria that we have known has ceased to exist. That is obvious. What are the conclusions we should make? If the people don't want to fight for their country, no external force can help them. But the people are fighting for the country. See, that's the thing. He's talking about the Syrian army not wanting to stand up and fight, but the Syrian army would be fighting for Assad, not for their country. And that's the difference here. No external force can help them, regardless of their numbers. If the people want freedom, if they want to fight, then they can be supported. But to assume responsibility for the lives of the people who don't want to take this responsibility on themselves would be extremely strange. But that's what the Russian government has been doing through the mechanism of Assad's army trying to prop up the dictator. It's this weird double talk, weird mirroring effect of what they say as opposed to what's actually going on. It happens all the time when you watch this. At this stage of the situation in Syria, it is clear that the Assad family rule is gone, mercifully. I personally knew Bashar Assad. Sure, they got along great. It so happened I interviewed him several times. I don't claim to know him on a deep level, but I like this man a lot. Unsurprisingly, he likes him a lot. It was totally clear that it was impossible to hold it all together through non-dictatorial means. Whoa, listen to what he's admitting, that they couldn't hold it together unless they had a dictator at the top of the system. Like, that's problematic. That tells you that there's something wrong with the system when you have to have a dictator in order to hold it together. That means that you have to do it by force. Why can't you let people be free? Help them grow, help them prosper, help them become more. Turns out they don't want to throw somebody off who's helping them grow and prosper. Suddenly, people refuse to show their support, as well as the army. What kind of army was it? Who was in this army? It was one thing when we were dealing with this army, and we were trying to help. Okay, you were trying to help a dictator control his people. That's what you were trying to do. It wasn't trying to help the people. But where were those people? They fell out of favor. They ended up in the doghouse. The Iranians did not show up. The Iraqis did not show up. The Lebanese did not show up. Yep. All the dictators ran. That's exactly what happened. All the authoritarian strongmen realized, uh-oh, we better get out of here. The Lebanese did not show up. They did not come to help. Our troops completed the task set before them. Really? They completed the tasks set before them? No, they were getting out of Dodge as quickly as they can. Well, most of them at least. They have secured victory. I love how he talks nonsense. Like they actually did something impressive. Well, we're now victorious, so we can go home. No, you've been chased out by the rebels who are throwing off the Assad government. The Syrian people and the Syrian leadership had to manage the fruits of this victory. The world has entered an era of colossal changes that are happening very fast. In order to react to them intelligently, we should look deep within ourselves and rely on our own strength. without succumbing to any geopolitical illusions. We should not try to find friends where there aren't any. Well, but that's exactly what you were doing. And relying on yourself for what? For the victory that you just had when you lost Syria. Geopolitically, this is a huge black eye. And through this weird doublespeak, he's trying to make it sound like, you know what? We did what we had to do, and now we're going to go somewhere else. Wow, the way that many are anticipating that Trump will come and that he is pretty much our friend. Trump is no friend of ours. Well, that's really interesting for him to be admitting that Trump's no friend of theirs, because all the talk before the election was that Trump was going to come and kiss Putin's feet and do whatever Putin wanted to do. And they were kind of cheering for Trump, but they're getting the memo that it might not work out quite like they were hoping. Now he goes on. He deeply despises Zelensky. It was obvious during this meeting that he didn't want, that Macron set it up. How long did they spend? 40 minutes? Simon Yun, 20 minutes. It's really nothing. Just hello, take a picture, and goodbye. No communique, no declaration. It was pointless, but it wasn't pointless. Trump was there with Zelensky, and the world saw that. And the world's going to be thinking differently of it just because they saw that picture. So we don't know what came of it, if anything, but we'll see in time. It wasn't pointless. Trump's tweets were extremely unfriendly toward us and demonstrate that we shouldn't harbor any illusions. Let's not seek a friend in him. Wow. Like, if I told you that they would be saying this on December 12th of 2024, if I told you that in November, the first week of November before the election, you would have said, Gerdes, you're just trying to promote Trump. That's all. I wasn't, and I'm not now, but that's what they're saying. He says this Ukraine war should stop and everyone should go back to their own corner. I have a little question. What makes him think his opinion is important to us? Now, this is freaking awesome, because what's going to happen here is Zelensky was taking time to meet with Trump to say, yes, Trump, this is a good idea. We want peace. We need peace. We need a just peace. You can help with this. The Russians keep spending time trying to poke Trump in the eye and say, who do you think you are? You're nothing to us. I don't think that's going to work out very well for them. What's important to us are our national interests. The President of the Russian Federation clearly and concisely set them forth this summer. Here are our goals, regardless of what Trump or anyone else wants. If they want to make a deal, not a problem. Fulfill our conditions and we'll immediately make a deal. What's most important for us here is for our people to feel a total unity with the government. Kind of like total unity with the government in Syria, which is called authoritarianism. This is the current situation. Jake Sullivan scoffed when he said, look at the Russian army. It used to be the second strongest army in the world. He is right, because right now we are obviously the first. As for the American army, it's not that easy to answer. If someone thinks, well, Trump is the president now, don't cling to that hope. Biden still has plenty of time to start World War III. Okay, we're going to stop there. They're just in La La Land. And I just don't know any other way to explain how in La La Land they are with this. Are they just really that delusional, or is this all scripted and intended for show, trying to project strength to the Russian population? Put that in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.